you might think he's a native, well, because he's a duck. But his journey didn't start in the PNW. In fact, his journey started 2,000 miles away, on the campus of Mississippi State University as a little yellow duckling. That's right, Mario. A fatal shooting involving an off-duty LAPD officer occurred around 8:30 p.m. on Thursday in Ontario. History is made in the NBA G League as the first ever woman wins the prestigious Coach of the Year award. In a scene that could be straight from a horror film, a man is lucky to be alive after narrowly escaping death while on his way to a local market in Eugene. And what started as 20 tents on Monday has now turned into more than 50. Protesters are now calling this encampment a liberation zone for Palestine. The University of Oregon women's track and field team took some of the Tracktown magic with them to Colorado. In Los Angeles, 19 different Metro bus lines are delayed as of Friday due to a sick out by Metro bus drivers. At the University of Oregon, hundreds of ducks roam the campus every day, each with their own story to tell. Intriguing and unique in many ways, while others, well, not so much. None of those stories, however, quite compare to his. That's Quacktavius, UO's newest duck. Literally. Quacktavius migrated to the Pacific Northwest during the fall of 2023 to join the rest of his flock. Not knowing of the stardom he would soon achieve, Quacktavius was just owner Jeremy Jackson's sidekick and emotional support animal.
At the time, I was just going through so much stress, at school, and I'm glad I got him too because, yeah, he kind of, relieved a lot of that stress. People, they'd be like, oh, hey, Jeremy, how are you? Those questions that, I wish, people would ask, they end up asking.
Quacktavius soon gained his first opportunity under the spotlight at the Oregon football game versus Colorado this past fall. That's Jeremy in the video, holding up Quacktavius in the student section as fans thunderously cheer them on. Since that game, Quacktavius has had quite the Hollywood story, from feature stories to media days with the athletic programs and even his own merchandise.
There's not a lot of campuses that could say they have their own mascot as an actual animal walking around, so I definitely say it brings people together to kind of be able to witness that in person.
I didn't want people to get the image of oh yeah, I'm just trying to make this a cash grab, and people just kept asking about it. I was like, you know what, fine, I give into it, and so I made it.
Jackson says he's had several requests for Quacktavius to show up at events, like this weekend's Kids Duck Dash at the Eugene Marathon. For this web-footed, feathered-covered duck, his journey has been unprecedented. If you saw him walking around the University of Oregon campus, you might think he's a native, well, because he's a duck. But his journey didn't start in the PNW. In fact, his journey started 2,000 miles away, on the campus of Mississippi State University as a little yellow duckling.
One day, I think it was the week before spring break, and I told my roommate, I said, Zach, dude, I'm just gonna go get some ducks. And so I went and got a duck, and yeah, here we are, man. That's how it came to fruition, man. To think back to when I first got him and he was a duckling, he was just a yellow duckling, and I was like, this is gonna be my duck, man. Nothing's gonna, crazy gonna happen about this. And, to come out here and for things that go the way they've gone and the support I've given, man, it's just been great, man. I can't ask to be in a better community, man. I can ask for more support, dog. It's just amazing.
Although Quacktavius' popularity has skyrocketed, Jackson says Quacktavius plays a greater role in the community, a role that helps others and himself included.
A lot of people come up to me and they're like, hey, seeing the duck, you bringing him to campus or whatever they may say, and that helps them, And so for people to take the time to recognize him, recognize me, it just means a lot to me. It lets me know that at least I'm doing something right.
Michael Gonzalez, Oregon News. On Thursday, IMA Financial Group held its second annual Game of Thrones fundraising event at the Civic Park Kids Sports Fieldhouse. Attendees enjoyed a competitive cornhole tournament accompanied with some food and music.
The turnout is more than last year, and we hope it gets even bigger for years to come. I participated last year. and I did okay, but this year I'm just here to volunteer.
Although all fun and games, the donations and other contributions will help local nonprofits create opportunities for the youth and make a difference in the community.
We work with a few charities both here in Lane County and in Portland area. Some of those charities being this facility here, Kids Sports.
The top 3 teams win a trophy like this that say Game of Thrones 2024 championship team, second place team, or third place team. And if they're anything like me, they do not want me on their team.
IMA has had success over the last 2 years, hitting its target goal both times. They even donated a substantial amount to the Kids Sports Organization for hosting their event. Reporting for Oregon News, I'm Michael Gonzalez.
Students and non-affiliated UO individuals have joined together on the campus at the University of Oregon to show their support for the Justice for Palestine movement.
We're just here to demonstrate the power of students. We're coming together in peaceful protest of the genocide in Gaza.
Protesters' main objective is to shed light on the events in Gaza and are calling for a ceasefire. Like many protests, police are often involved to disperse the crowd and keep peace. Yet the protest at UO has been peaceful, and the protesters do not intend to become rowdy and would like for law enforcement to stay put.
The whole goal of this protest is to just keep it non-violent and as peaceful as possible. Oftentimes, police presence leads to escalation and violence, and I don't want that to happen. Even if there is conflict, I feel like there are ways for us to manage it and come to an understanding and an agreement without involving police.
Protesters for justice in Palestine have set up an encampment at the University of Oregon in front of the Lillis Business Complex. And what started as 20 tents on Monday has now turned into more than 50. Protesters are now calling this encampment a liberation zone for Palestine. I reached out to the Division of Student Life here at the University of Oregon to discuss the demonstration safety and education team. I have yet to receive a response back. President John Carl Schultz also released a statement referring to students' right to protest and their freedom of speech. He highlighted universities acting as a community and his opportunity to sit with students to discuss their hopes and concerns. In the meantime, the protesters will continue to camp out until they are able to speak to university officials.
I think the goal is to just stay here until we have a conversation with the university, until they acknowledge our demands and we have like a full conversation about it.
Reporting for Oregon News, I am Michael Gonzalez.